Hello, welcome to podcast 13. So here's the assignment that we're looking at for W.E.B. Du Bois, Souls of Black Folk, the second part of the reading selection. So you want to read chapters 10 through 14 plus the afterthought. And so these chapters will be, chapter 10 will be of the faith of the fathers, chapter 11 will be of the passing of the firstborn, chapter 12 will be of Alexander Crummell. Chapter 13 will be of the coming of John, and chapter 14 will be of the sorrow songs. And then you have the small afterthought. So read those chapters right at the end of the text. These are the famous chapters, if you will, after chapter 1, chapter 3. So make sure that you read these. And then the assignment is to make one primary chapter selection and one secondary chapter selection. Okay, so you're reading 5 chapters or 5.5 chapters in total, but then you're trying to construct an analysis based on only 2 chapters. And so this analysis should proceed by a primary chapter and also by a secondary chapter. So the primary chapters are chapter 11, the passing of the firstborn, or chapter 13, the coming of the John. These are the memoiristic literary texts of the text of the Souls of Black Folk. So the passing of the firstborn is memoir, sort of autobiographical writing that's been infused with lyrical subjectivity by Du Bois, and chapter 13 is a straight up short story that he writes. Okay, so you want to use these primary chapters. They're literary, they're aesthetic, and then you want to use one of those primary chapters. So select either the passing of the firstborn, the coming of John, whichever strikes you, more as more useful. Secondary chapters would be chapter 10 of the Faith of the Fathers, or chapter 14, the Sorrow Songs. Okay, so pick your primary chapter. That's where you're going to work in. And then your secondary chapter is going to provide the analytic sort of template. So both chapter 10 and chapter 14 are social scientific sort of studies that apply the idea of double consciousness to, 1, the idea of faith, and 2, to the idea of music. Okay? So you pick either chapter 10 or chapter 14, and you apply that to either chapter 11 or chapter 13. Okay, so you're working with 2 chapters. One's primary, that's the big one, and then one is a secondary one.